In this lesson, we're going to be adding integers. Our goal is to apply and extend previous knowledge to add integers using models and number lines. So today we're really going to focus on using visual aids to help us add integers. In the next tutorial, you will use a standard algorithm. So let's review. Integers. What is an integer? Integers include positive and negative whole numbers, including 0. So numbers that are integers are things like -3, -2, -1, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, etc. And today we're going to be adding those numbers together. A common mistake is that when students add two negative integers, they get a positive sum. For example, -5 plus -7 should not be positive 12. Instead, it should be -12. And that happens because students apply other integers rules to addition. So make sure you're going the right way down the number line or using the right kind of manipulatives. So to review, we can always add integers. We're used to adding integers and even adding them on a number line from all the way in our elementary school years. For example, 3 plus 1 equals 4. So if I go 3 to the right, because right is my positive side, plus one more positive to the right, I'm going to get positive 4. Now when we deal with positive numbers, we generally avoid the positive sign, and we just say 4. Now, when we add integers that are negative, we need to go the opposite way on the number line. So, of course, we remember that numbers to the right of 0 are always positive. Numbers to the left of 0 are always negative. So if we have a number like -1, we start at 0 and we go -1. And then I have to add 7 more negatives. So that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So I notice, at -8. So when I have one negative, and then I add 7 more negatives, which of course is 7 more to the left, that gives me 8 negatives. So there are a few different kinds of visual aids that we can use. Let's look at another example. Find the sum of -8 plus +9, or -8 plus 9. Well, we can look at them as positive and negative algebra tiles, which we'll be using more in class, and we can also count them on the number line. So I'm first going to start with the tiles. Something to remember with the tiles is a positive plus one negative is always 0. For example, -1 plus 1 is 0. And I can see that on a number line if I say 1 negative and then I go 1 positive, that puts me back at 0. Again, 1 positive plus 1 negative, again, back to 0. I also like to think of them as protons and electrons. They charge to 0. So let's get 8 negatives. So we have 8 negatives, and I need to add 9 positives to those. So now I have them together. And so now I can pair up all my neutrals. So when I add them together, I can see that all of my neutrals have come together. So these are all zeros. So I can actually discard them, but I'm just going to circle them. And what I'm left with is 1 positives. So that's our visual aid using the algebra tiles, or the positive and negative tiles. Now let's validate that with using our number line. So we start with 8 negatives, so I'm going to go over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then I'm going to add 9 positives. Again, positive means I'm going to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And of course, I land on positive 1. So -8 plus 9 is 1. And kind of look at the relationship. Well, negative 8 plus 9 is 1. 9 minus 8 is also 1. So kind of think about those relationships as we're going through the integers. So let's look at another example. An atom has 16 protons and 18 electrons. What is the total charge? Now, I hope you remember from 4th and 5th grade science what protons and electrons are. Of course, protons are going to be positive, and electrons, 18 electrons, would be negative. Electrons have a negative charge. So what is the total charge? So we're going to start with 16 protons here. So now I have my 16 protons. Now I need 18 electrons. So it's a little crowded, but I can now see that I have 16 protons and 18 electrons. And when I put them together, I can find the total charge. Some of the positives will be in front of each other, but I can see how these relate. So I have my zeros. So now that I've paired them all up, I have all my zeros, and I can now discard those, and I can see that I am left with 2 negatives. So the total charge is negative 2, because I'm left with 2 electrons. So that's some science tied into your math. Let's look at some other examples. Your savings account has $5. You make deposits of $10 and $15 into your bank. You make a withdrawal of $20. What is your account balance? So what you really need to know is, how much money do I have? Well, I started off with $5. So that starts me off around here. Here's 5, halfway between 4 and 6. And now I'm making a deposit of $10. So 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that's a deposit of $10, which brings me to 15. Then I make another deposit of $15, so that's 15 plus 15, and I will just create a 30 here, since the largest number line I could see was 20. So then I need to make a withdrawal of $20. Now, a deposit is positive. Deposits is money you're putting into your account. It's always positive money. A withdrawal is something you're taking out of the account. So that would be negative. So a withdrawal of 20. Well, now I'm going to go to the left. So I have to go 10 to the left to get to 20. And then I need to go 10 more. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So, what is my account balance? Well, you might have seen some bank accounts where they have negative balances. This is actually one of those situations where that can happen if you were to have taken too much money out. For example, if you took out $40 instead of $20, you would have a negative account balance. But we notice that in this case, when we subtract or make a withdrawal, we're adding a negative number, then we're landing on positive 10. So I have $10 left in my account. So I hope these situations help you connect it to the real world. Now I want you to make your own number lines or your own manipulatives and show me why these work. So I want you to take a minute to pause the video to copy down your guided practice, and these will be the topic of next time's number talk. So make sure that you are ready to explain why it works. Remember, you need to explain either with the algebra tiles, the positive and negative signs, or with a number line. And of course, think very carefully about what negative 8 plus the absolute value of 8 would be. Take a minute to pause now. So in this lesson, you have learned to add positive and negative integers using manipulatives or visual aids and a number line. I hope this helps you, and I really want you to, again, make sure that you're looking for any specific patterns that'll help you in future references, especially when we're going to be looking into using algorithms to help us verify rules that work with addition of integers. Another great job today, and I hope you keep track of what positive and negative numbers really mean in the real world.